Welcome to tonight's stream of Hearthstone DGL. This is the Amber League, and we will be watching the Do or Die Cup, round 2. Round 1 was played, I think it was on Monday, and now we're into round 2. The first match we'll be watching is Adrenalin versus Philo. As you can see on the left-hand side, Adrenalin's Warrior was banned, and Philo's Paladin was banned. Decks left to play. Philo will have a Taunt Warrior, which he is playing right now, as well as a Priest and a Hunter. Whereas Adrenalin has a a Control Paladin, and then as well also a Shaman and a Mage. We will just get Philo's hand up here as well, and see what they are sitting with. If you have just joined us, welcome. I see here who is this? Menlin. Hi, Menlin. Oh, well, depends what you want to cast. Sorry, I'm just busy with this game, and we can cast something afterwards. Let's get back to this game, as it is already underway. On turn 4, Philo has played his quest, and also his first taunt in the form of the Stonehill Defender, discovering a... not sure what he discovered, it doesn't show, but we'll see soon, unless he's actually saw that. I don't know. Getting 2 taunts off the field, as well as clearing his opponent's board. The left-hand side, yeah, replay is not showing up as it should. So unfortunately we can't see what they have played. But Adrenalin sitting with quite a full hand, and will choose to play the True Silver Champion, perhaps to damage that Cornered Sentry down into Consecration range, but no, just for the time being, sitting and holding on to that True Silver Champion, and not attacking with it as of just yet. He can coin out Equality Consecrate if he chooses to. Quite a few ways to deal with it. He can Equality Wild Pyromancer as well. He has 2 Equalities in hand, so that will give him 2 turns of complete board clear if he so wishes. And it seems like the first one he will drop out is the Wild Pyromancer into Equality. Some other cards still also in hand in the form of that Spine Ridge Steed is completely overpowered, in my opinion. I love that card. But Getaway Coder will also be played. He discovered that from his Adrologist, of course. Very, very staple card in this Control Paladin deck. And Philo is sitting with an empty board. Both players, for that matter, sitting with an empty board. Although Philo is at 3 out of 7 done with his quest, with only 1 taunt in hand, with the Primordial Drake right there. Unfortunately, can't play that yet because of the mana curve. And we'll just armor up with that... I can't remember what that card's called. The +5 draw card, and 0 power. Ivory Knight, will he choose to get another Spike Ridged Steed? No, he will choose a Getaway Kodo instead, potentially cycling that horse, the Ivory Knight, cycling it a few times if he so chooses. Will Philo decide to execute that? I think not, but he can sleep with the fishes if he wants to deal with that. He seems to be playing a an interesting version of the deck. Quite a lot of board clear as well as taunt with those cards in his hand. Adrenalin will get a Consecration, now 2 in hand, but he will drop that Spike Ridge Steed onto that Ivory Knight to make it quite tanky, and he always has that Getaway Kodo to get it back into his hand, which he can drop another Spike Ridge Steed onto it if he so chooses. That Enzoth in hand as well is very, very, very nice to get some of these cards back. And yeah, Getaway Coda will be triggered. A very worthwhile execute, I guess. I mean, that was a very big minion, but luckily for Adrenalin, he still has it in hand. Philo not getting a very nice taunts there, discovered with his Stonehill Defender sitting with a Pompous, Thespian, Cornet Sentry, and an Infested Tauren. Infested Tauren might be the best choice there, and he will choose to do that indeed. But not the best taunts. Not what he was hoping for sure. And an Infested Tauren getting drawn by Adrenalin as well. Of course, that Death Rattle in his deck. So it's a control, the Enzoth control Paladin, of course, having... I wonder... No, that's not a Death Rattle, is it? When it dies, summon a minion. Does it give the minion Death Rattle? Will it come back? That's strong... When Enzoth gets dropped, I don't know. We'll have to see, I guess. And it's quite interesting seeing a Stegodon getting spike steeded. And also very, very strong Death Rattle cards in the arsenal of a Paladin, with a lot of the legendaries being Death Rattle cards. I'm wrong. No, that's Taunt. Never mind me, it's why Stonehill Defender so nice in the deck. Philo sitting with 5 out of 7 in his quest completed. That Infested Tauren will get him to 6, and unfortunately no other taunt in the hand for him at this point. That Primordial Drake standing strong though for the time being. He can drop now the Dirty Rat as well as the Infested Tauren to get for 6 cost, get his quest completed, and then that 4 mana will enable him to use that weapon as well if he so chooses. But we will have to see what he decides to do. Is he going to complete his quest, or is he going to drop something else? What other options does he have? Unfortunately, he didn't get through that taunt, but Grommash still being a very, very strong card to drop. He will decide to Whirlwind instead, getting some more draw. Not completing that quest at the as of yet, but another Dirty Rat in hand will enable him to still complete the quest if he so chooses. He could have done it still with that 6 mana, but will need to keep the weapon in hand. We will have to see what he chooses to do. If he can Dirty Rat out that Enzoth, that would be quite nice. Enzoth is quite a big body, but definitely a worthwhile choice. He's going to choose not to do that instead. Not drop either of the Dirty Rats and armor up instead. Another Death Rattle. Very often seen in an Enzoth deck. Being drawn in the form of Karn Bloodhoof. Just want to see how the stream is doing. Okay, we seem to be okay. This will be quite a difficult game for Philo to win unless he gets that that weapon down very, very quickly. Although Adrenalin, well, yeah, Adrenalin still has some heal left. Need to with no real board clear for him at the moment, and on Philo's side that is. He can't get past those taunts. But he can still drop the Grommash Hellscream. He seems to be wanting to keep Grommash as a win condition. Instead of a very good trading minion, which he is. But we'll start to chip away at that at those taunts, and there we go. All the taunts down at the moment for on Adrenalin's side of the board. He does have Enzoth. He can get them back. But will he choose it to do at this point? Drop that Hydrologist, as Hydrologist, right? Hydrologist to get maybe a very, very nice secret, and can't think off the bat what secrets would be really good for maybe another Getaway Kodo. Those are very nice. But we will have to see. He decides to trade and consecrate, and dropping the Getaway Kodo he does already have. Chipping away a little at the face of Philo. Not sure why, but I'm unable to see the actual stream. It is up, right? And there we go. Hero power to the face of Adrenalin, drawing that Dione Matriarch, which he just put into his deck with 13 cards. That is less than half. Is the stream actually dead, or is it just my tablet that's malfunctioning here? I don't know. I don't know, but he will drop his Ivory Knight now, and he can. He's got 2 6 cost cards which he can choose to get, and that's a definite 6 health in the bank for him. He chooses the Avenging Wrath instead of the Spiked Steed, Spike Ridge Steed. That 8 damage could come in handy for him. With that, he still has 1 charge of Sulfurous left. Dropping that Elder Peacekeeper to cut that strange-looking dragon down to size. Doing a little bit of damage to it at this point. Adrenalin is still having that Equality Consecrate in his hand, waiting with that for quite a while. If he chooses to trade or clear the board, he can do that if it turns out that the game takes that turn. Philo's still sitting with 2 Dirty Rats in hand. If he can get that Enzoth, that Enzoth, or even, the Enzoth or the Doomsayer will be very, very nice picks to get out right now. And he will drop Dirty Rat. What will it be? And unfortunately, the Hydrologist is what he gets. But he should, not knowing what his opponent has. I'm pretty sure Adrenalin is quite afraid of what he could. That Ravaging Ghoul will go down and probably comboed with a Sleep with the Fishes. Okay, getaway. Okay, proc attacking first so that he can proc getaway Kodo. That's not a bad idea. Well, if he only knew what his opponent had in his hand, that Dirty Rat, secondary rat, I can assure you would have gone down. But down to 16 HP with the Hero Power going to face, chipping away all the while. Still very good for Philo. He's getting there. 2 more to the face will be a death. Well, will be a win for him. Can he manage that? He also has the ability to play a Grommash if his opponent does not play a Taunt, and he does not do that. So playing Grommash right now would be very nice indeed. Although dropping low himself, sitting at 12 HP right now. What will he decide to do? Seems like that Ali Armorsmith is going to go down. And a 50% chance to go face, and it does not go face, clearing that Khan Bloodhoof off the field. This would be around about the point that Adrenalin can think about. No, not yet. Not yet. Think about Enzoth. Of course, he has Tyrion Fordring on the field. Dropping it along with the Doomsayer to assure himself getting that weapon, and then he can bring it back next turn with Enzoth. Although if Philo decides to drop the Dirty Rat, if he gets Enzoth, he doesn't. He gets the Hydrologist again. Enzoth there would be the game-winning pickup for Philo. Unfortunately, he does not get it. That would be devastating to Adrenalin. Unfortunately, twice in a row, both Dirty Rats pulling that Hydrologist out of the hand for Adrenalin. I'm sure that he might have thought that... okay, that's not the worst. That is actually, I would say, in Philo's favor. Adrenalin being so lucky that Enzoth was not pulled out of his hand. That 2 armor is not a worry for Adrenalin. He'll gladly attack into that. Holding on to the Dirty Rat for the time being. He would obviously pull that Grommash out of hand from Philo's hand and onto the field. Next turn he could do that. Dirty Rat into quality would enable him to use his guy to attack it, or even most probably, I don't know, executing that Tyrion. It's probably not a bad choice for him, considering what's on the board right now, but I'm sure he knows that Enzoth is in Adrenalin's hand because of the way that he played that turn. He dropped Tyrion onto the field. Very, very difficult here for Adrenalin, not going face, instead attacking that guy. He really needed that to go face. And the forbidden healing will ensure that Adrenalin is out of the woods. And there goes his Enzoth onto the field, getting 4 minions back from the death, one being Tyrion Fordring, an extremely strong card, with which he could get another Ashbringer in hand. I would say this is like the time, if any, to brawl, and he will do that indeed. Still a board for Adrenalin. All right, the best possible minion to be left, but he will still have that 8 damage on board with those death rattles, which will be lethal if he can't play anything, and he cannot. Oh yeah, the weapon as well. Very, very difficult there, even if he hero powered that Bloodhoof. And first victory will go to Adrenalin. Moving into round 2. Adrenalin has chosen to play his Shaman. This will be an Elemental Shaman by the looks of it, and Philo will move over to his Hunter. It seems like a mid-range or aggro Hunter. We can't really see at this point. Could be either. Most likely mid-range. It's a very popular deck at the moment in the game. That's a very nice draw from that Macaw, that Grizzly. And Adrenalin will take it slow. At turn 2, deciding not to push that Fire Plume Harbinger out, and instead hero power. Luckily getting a taunt, which is, I'm sure, what he wanted out of that. Turn 3, dropping his Igneous Elemental, being an activator for his Divine Stone Shaper next turn. Very, very annoying card for Philo's mid-range deck to deal with. It seems like a mid-range deck. Lovely. That the Black Knight. Interesting that he would play that in a deck and then choose to ban a warrior. You would think that the Black Knight is a tech choice to deal with a warrior specifically, but he banned Adrenalin's warrior. Very interesting indeed. Alright then. At turn 2, deciding to get that hyena, both hyenas, onto the board. And probably gonna attack in with that and kill his grandmother. It's a very weird sentence. Into the Igneous Elemental, and we'll do just that to buff those two hyenas up. Now the question is, will Adrenalin decide to hex one of those hyenas, or drop his Tolvier Stone Shaper? If he does hex, he won't have an activator for next turn, and will be required to drop another elemental before getting that Tolvier Stone Shaper onto the field. And but oh yes, wait, sorry. If he does trade his Igneous Elemental, he will also have an elemental he can play this turn in the form of a 1-cost elemental. Dropping the Vile Plume Harbinger will enable him to play his Fire Elemental next turn as well, as it will reduce the cost of all elementals in your hand by 1. Hoping for a taunt, and by killing that beast you're buffing those hyenas up even more. Quite unfortunate. Unleash the Hounds. A lot of damage on the field for Philo at this point. Those are getting extremely scary. 10-6. 2 of those hyenas. That'll be 20 damage to the face of Adrenalin, including 21 damage. He should have hexed. He should have hexed. And that will be game, as that will not stop those minions. The second game then going to Philo. This is turning out to be quite an interesting series. I'm enjoying this so far. And we're moving into game 3 of this match. 1-1 to each player. And this will be both players playing the deck they have already lost with. Adrenalin playing his Elemental Shaman and Philo playing his Taunt Quest Warrior. At turn 3, Philo will he has played his quest as well as prime his weapon right there. And you will in turn 3 decide to shield block as well. Most likely going to use that weapon to attack into the Fire Plume. Nope, deciding not to do that instead. Deathwing, quite an interesting choice in this deck for Adrenalin. Excuse me. Coining out that Servant of Calamos and deciding to pick the Fire Elemental. Very, very good start for Adrenalin so far. Much better than previous game. Spirit Echo, interesting. I like this deck. It's doesn't seem like a completely neck-decked Elemental Shaman. I like it. All right, Philo looking to play that Whirlwind. And dropping the Ravaging Ghoul as well, using 2 board-wide AoEs just to clear those 2 minions. But developing some kind of board while he does that. Not the worst indeed. But that Tolvir Stone Shaper will say, stop right there, you're not going anywhere. Perhaps not very nice for Philo. And he drops the Ali Omersmith, getting his quest to 1 out of 7. Still a long way to go. But he has that Dirty Rat in hand. It will be quite interesting if he pulls that Deathwing out of Adrenalin's hand. That'll most certainly be a very bad time for Philo. Just checking something out quickly. Adrenalin dropping another elemental in the form of the Hot Spring Guardian and healing his Stone Shaper up, building a wall against a Taunt Warrior. That's quite interesting to see, walling up against the Waller. I'm not sure if what's wrong with Twitch. It does say I'm streaming. And, Philo getting that Hot Spring Guardian off the field, but not developing much of a board. Deciding to hold on to that Dirty Rat to possibly play that next turn along with the Brawl. We'll see what happens if he chooses to do that in his next turn, which he can do now. Destroying that Execute, not much to deal with there. He will drop that Dirty Rat, and he will get a Flame Blaze Caller, which is a very, very nice card indeed to get out of their hand of Adrenalin. And the Brawl going down, leaving the Stone Shaper on the board. Okay, it seems my stream is up. My tablet is just unable to watch it. Primordial Drake will be the third taunt for Philo. At turn 8, it's going quite slowly. This deck might be a loss for Philo, unfortunately, as it is so far seems to be failing him twice. Although that first game was quite insane. I won't lie, it was fun to watch. Sleep with the Fishes will take two of the minions off the field from Adrenalin, for Adrenalin. And but unfortunately that faceless, what is it called? Faceless, flame-wreathed faceless will be left standing. A very harsh 7 damage to the face of Philo, leaving him on only 13. Not looking good for him at all. He is again holding on to that. Oof, unfortunate. But he at least he can execute the faceless. He's okay. Finally, okay. He's gonna decide to play his Gramash and not keep it for a win condition as that final blow, as one does. And well, 2 lightning storms will deal with that. But will he decide to go that far, just to kill that Gramash? Sword of Kalamos might be a better choice, and he does decide to do exactly that. Will he get the Alakir, or will he decide to get another Servant of Kalamos? He will decide to get another Servant of Kalamos. I don't know what he's fishing for, but that may not be what he wants. The Frozen Elemental will enable him to stop that Gramash next turn. But what will Philo do? Armorsmith, Acolyte of Pain going down. Is he going to hold on to that Dirty Rat? We'll have to wait and see. He does have a way to deal with Grommash next turn, but he's gonna use Grommash to both. Ooh, interesting. Well, he's gonna drop that first. Let's see. Volcano might not be a very, very good play at this point. You will decide to trade in, well, to get that Armorsmith off the field before he Lightning Storms, to not get that that 6 damage into, that 2 extra armor on Philo. That Shield Slam will enable him to take out either of those minions. He'll have to armor up first. Dirty Rat going down, pulling a... Ooh, only pulling a Flame Elemental. Although, I'm sure he didn't want Deathwing on the field. Not at all. Definitely not, boys. That is not what you want. Not looking good for Philo. He's grasping at straws at this point. Can he pull something out of that deck next turn to possibly still win this? We'll just have to wait and see. His quest's only sitting at 4 out of 7, so that won't be what he needs at all. Dirty Rat will slow it down. No damage to face this turn. Unless Adrenalin uses his Lightning Storm. Well, you also Spirit Echo. Maybe. And yes. Only that Servant of Kalamos really being of worth there as a Death Rattle. And that Totem healing up his Servant of Kalamos out of kill range for the Dirty Rat. Well, obviously he needs to go past the taunt anyway. What am I doing? If you have just joined us, welcome to the stream for tonight. I cannot see any chat, so feel free to still say something. I'll just have to alt-tab to see anything. The games are, at the moment, 1-all. Adrenalin... Adrenalin taking the first game, winning with his Paladin, and then Philo just winning the previous game with his Hunter, mid-range Hunter. Both players playing with a deck they lost with already. And so far, Adrenalin is looking in a much, much better position than Philo is. It is not game yet though, but that execute will not be the draw that Philo needs to bring him back into this game. He wants more taunts. He wants to get that quest completed, sitting at 4 out of 7, still missing 3 taunts. How is he going to complete that? And that, my friends, that Bloodlust right there will end this game. Not sure if he needed that Bloodlust. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. I think he did. But that will end the game and bring the second win in the way of Adrenalin. Now sitting 2-1 in favor of Adrenalin. One away from winning this match. Let's see what it is. Philo playing his last deck as well. Going for a priest. And it will be a quest mage. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Open the way gate. As some say, the Exodia mage. Maligning out that sorceress and getting a molten reflection. Also needed both cards needed for the combo. But ideally you want to complete the quest first. And to do that, you need to play cards, 6 cards that haven't started in your hand. That Kabbalist Tome will give him 3 needed to get that. And Philo playing a dragon, it seems like, a dragon priest. Very lovely. I've always liked the dragon priests. And that is a textbook turn to play for Philo. Attack and heal. Getting a draw. Both players getting a draw out of this round. And there will be another card that generates a card that didn't start in Adrenalin's deck in the form of the Babbling Book. Although he will not play that, because that will give Philo another draw if he added to attack and heal. And on turn 3, dropping that Cabal Talon Priest, ensuring more card draw. He could overdraw though, and not in time. And Adrenalin can help him with that using the Cold Light Oracle. Perhaps hoping for that by playing that little Babbling Book down now. We'll see if Philo will attack into that and heal up, but how he will have 9 cards in hand, which will burn 1 card for with the Cold Light Oracle, but that is not the intention of their play, as Philo will ignore that and just drop his Twilight Drake onto the field. Deciding to get a Frostbolt into it to slow it down a bit. Perhaps another Frostbolt. Another Frostbolt will be nice, as it will become a 0-cost Frostbolt. Instead, we'll choose to play Mana Bind as his first out of 6 into completing that quest. Mana Bind will give him a 0-cost card of a spell that his opponent plays. And will Philo heal up? Nope. On curve, dropping that Draconord Operative, having the Primordial Drake as an activator in hand. Not the best pull out of that, but Kabbalist Tome will be nice. Currently, Philo's sitting with a much stronger board. But board control is not the purpose of the quest Exodia Mage. The purpose is to complete your quest and slow your opponent down. You can have a big board as he wants, as long as you can stop him from attacking, I guess. Another Primordial Glyph will be instantly picked up, as it will generate another card towards that quest. Generally wanting some cheaper cards. That Flame Strike will allow him to clear the board, perhaps next turn. Not really, but will do some damage. But a Blizzard and then a Flame Strike, or Flame Strike and then a Blizzard, probably Blizzard into Flame Strike, will ensure that, since that is a 6 damage across the board, which will clear the board. What is he coining out? Alright, wonder... Okay, okay, I see why he picked Mana Bind in the first place. That will also further go into the quest. Shows you how much I know about the Exodia Mage. Very nice, actually, for Adrenalin. I'm sure he would want that Kabbalist Tome, though, instead. If he could have another of those, that would be just lovely. Although he's sitting with quite a full hand. He's killing his own minion. Why? Is he worried about overdrawing, perhaps? Perhaps not worried about his opponent playing any minions, as... Very interesting. This will be a very slow game, although Philo needs to end it as soon as he can. You don't want your opponent to finish that quest and get a combo in hand. This is probably the Antonidas build, looking at the Molten Reflection. And it will get some minions off of the board and also contribute to finishing his quest, sitting at 3 out of 6 now, moving ever so closer to that quest. But still quite a while away from having the combo in hand as well. The question is, will he be able to keep this game going until he has his whole quest completed? We'll just have to wait and see. Draconaut Operative getting power shielded. And Priest of the Feast. I'm pretty sure that Philo was worried about overdrawing, which is why he destroyed his own Northshire cleric right there with a Shadow Word of Pain, and also because the Shadow Word of Pain doesn't deal with any threats really on the side of Adrenalin. That mana coin, the coin being dropped, getting his quest to 4 out of 6. Also sitting at 9 mana now. He can play a Kabbalist Tome. Thinking about that Frost Nova, that is 8 damage on the board for Philo. And we'll do just that, drop that Kabbalist Tome, and now he has... Ooh, Shatter is very nice. Although he cannot play it, perhaps. Or sitting with 9 cards in hand, he had to play something. It's probably where he played Frost Nova. Not knowing what you would get out of that card. He would have only been at 10 cards, I think. Ooh, very, very nice. Nice. Ice Block is brilliant for Philo. But pulling that out. Yo, that is brilliant. Reason why that's brilliant, if you can't tell, is because the Exodia Mage deals with letting the game go on to that point, perhaps playing with secrets around, and then finishing the game in 1 turn. But now if he tries to do that, the Ice Block will stop him. Not good at all for Adrenalin. I'm not sure how impactful that will be, but we'll have to see. Draconaut Operative getting vaporized. Quest completed for Adrenalin. He has his Time Warp in hand, but he's still missing some pieces of his combo. This does not look good for Adrenalin at all. That Ice Block pretty much ensured his demise. Although Philo not sitting with much damage on the board. Well, he has his Draconaut Operative. There is some damage. There's quite a bit of damage actually. But this priest he is playing is definitely not built to beat this kind of deck. More of a board control-y trading deck, it seems. Another Draconaut Operative, which he will not drop, and rather burn some cards that he has in his hand. That counterspell will stop the Frost Nova, which I'm sure he didn't really care about. He just wanted to empty his hand a bit. Maybe drop that Flame Gazer might be a good idea. But this is getting very, very close to the end of this game. Adrenalin stopping the momentum on Philo's side with that Blizzard. But he's still looking for some more cards, shattering that Draconaut Operative. Is he going to drop the Shimmering Temp? Yes, he will drop that to clear his hand up a bit so that he can probably draw with Coldlight Oracle. He definitely doesn't want to lose one of his combo pieces by overdrawing. And what is that, the 3rd or 4th Draconoid Operative going down for Philo? Not a very good selection of cards you could choose from. The Holy Nova will be a card out of his hand and healing up his minions a bit. Molten Reflection, how lovely. Not what he wants. He'll have to drop that Cold Light Oracle. Sitting with 9 cards in hand, he will be full. His hand will be full now. Probably hoping for a secret. Not getting it, and that will be probably the end of the game. Probably thinking about, what can you do? Dropping Sorcerer's Apprentices will give him a next turn, but you'll be wasting your time warp against an enemy that has 30 HP. And, well, he doesn't know that's an ice block, but still. And he's running out of time. Would he even have enough time to do all of this? You would want to maybe drop the Kabbalist Tomes. Let's see what happens. He will have another turn, so just losing the turn is not the worst. And there goes Antonidas, but he does not know that his opponent has Ice Block. That would be devastating to find out this way. And I'm sure Philo is laughing all the way to the bank. He did get the last combo piece he needed. So, if Philo did not draw that secret, this would definitely be a very nice win for Adrenalin. But that secret will end. Will it end the game? Yeah, it will. He can't really... Can it? Let's see. Even if he trades in now with everything, or he destroys everything on the field, Philo, he can't dish out the damage needed. Well, maybe. His hand is full, so he's gonna overdraw. The question then will be, can Philo deal that 7 damage to win? That polymorph will help him a bit. Yo, this is very interesting indeed. Let's see what happens. Obviously, Philo will have lethal next turn. Starting his turn, burning that card is not the worst. But I'm sure he's thinking now, what can he do? Can he win this game? Oof, I don't know. Flame Geezer's 2 damage, and he has 5 HP left. He can steal that minion, but he can't attack with it. Can he? Yes, it gives it charge. That's another 2 damage. That's 4 damage. Missing 3 damage. Does he have anything in his deck that deals 3 damage? The Draconaut Operative, there's no... Yeah, discover a card in your opponent's deck. You can discover a spell. That'll be the first thing he drops, the Draconaut Operative. Ice Block will give him another turn. This, friends, is so interesting. So interesting indeed. Flame Geezer getting played as well, doing 2 damage to the face of... I don't even know what's going on, friends. I don't even know what's going on. What can Philo do, though? What can Philo do, indeed? He did kill his Cold Light Oracle. His own Cold Light Oracle. So that his opponent could not... Potion of Madness that card. Very smart on the side of what the hell is going on? Why is he killing his... Why is he killing all his minions? I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. What is he making space for? What is he doing? Is he just playing cards out? Is he looking for Ice Block? That's what he was looking for. I'm sure. I think. I don't know. I don't even know what's happening anymore. Potion of Madness will give him another 2 damage, but that Ice Block will stop that from happening. Though Philo is now starting to think a bit more about what he can do. Dropping both those cards, reducing his damage. But that Ice Block will ensure probably the end. Primordial Glyph! My word! Smite and Holy Nova will both be spells, which enables him to do 2 damage plus the... but he already attacked. It will heal him up a bit, but not enough. All dragons, that's another potion of madness. Unfortunate, so unfortunate. That'll be more, 2 more healed, 10 damage. His opponent can still deal 12. I think that's game. That is game, and that's a win for Adrenalin. A very interesting game. Sorry if I didn't cast this properly. I didn't know what to say, really. This was amazing to watch. This was really an amazing round to watch. This whole match was actually very pleasant and nice to watch. Oh my word.